Welcome to the AFCON show on Sport Talk. At its massive congratulations to Cote d'Ivoire, the host nation, on winning the 34th edition of the Total Energies AFCON 2023. And looking at the Ivorians and their story, they were drawn in the Group A alongside the Super Eagles of Nigeria, Equatorial Guinea, and Guinea. They finished that group third on the log with 3 points, and they needed a Morocco win versus Zambia to keep them in the tournament. And they got it. As Morocco defeated Zambia 1-0, and they went on to play. Can I call them the unbeatable team in Senegal? Senegal had 9 points from their 3 group stage games, and it tells us that they were unbeatable. But the spirited Ivory Coast came out firing and defeated Senegal on penalties, and then they straight up went on to play Mali in the first half. I must tell you guys that Ivory Coast got a red card in the first half, and they played the entire of that game with 10 men for over 70 minutes. These guys went on, they kept on fighting, even when Mali scored. The Ivorians got equalized, and then they pushed the game till the extra time. And the final minute or seconds in the second half extra time, the Ivorians, the spirited Ivorians, got a well-deserved goal, by TheAFCON, and they went on to play the semi-finals versus TheAFCON. I think that's I would call it, no disrespect to TheAFCON, but that was an easy game for Cote d'Ivoire.
Cote d'Ivoire were brilliant.
They were brilliant, unstoppable on that night, and they defeated TheAFCON 1-0. They went on to play the final in their home stadium. The crowd were buzzing.
Absolutely.
All the stands, feels like it was with orange and all of that. And these guys, they were cheering their players up, and they came out firing. Even the fact that Nigeria scored the first goal with the first shot on target. The Ivorians, they didn't drop their shoulders. There was no body language. They kept on fighting and pushing until they got the goal through Frank Kesse and then Sebastian Ala. And Cote d'Ivoire went on to win the final in an impressive way. Credit to Coach Ep6 and congratulations once again to Ivory Coast.
Commiserations to the Super Eagles of Nigeria in their quest to get their hands on their 4th AFCON title. They started the group, really shaky as they played a 1-0 draw versus Equatorial Guinea, and in the second game defeated the host nation Cote d'Ivoire 1-0, a goal scored by William Troost Ekong. And in the third game, Nigeria got a 1-0 victory versus Guinea-Bissau. Went on to play really impressive game on the day, and went on to the knockout stages where they took on the indomitable Lions of Cameroon, where they defeated the Cameroonians 2-0 with a brace by Ademola Lookman, who's also one of the standout players of the AFCON 2023. In the quarterfinals, Nigeria played versus the Antelope of Angola, and they defeated them 1-0 as Ademola Lookman scored the goal again. And in the semi-finals, Nigeria played one of the most intensive games of the AFCON 2023 versus Bafana of South Africa. William Troost Ekong scored from the spot in the 64th minute, and South Africa equalized during the late minute from the spot, and it was a goal from Mokoena. They went into extra time. South Africa were completely all over Nigeria, and they got a red card late in the extra time. They went to penalties, and Stanley Nwabali, the goalkeeper from Nigeria, saved 2 penalties. Nigeria missed the penalty. Olaina missed the penalty, but Nigeria ended up winning the penalty 4-2. Nigeria went into the final full of confidence, but they didn't show that in the game. Yes, they got the first goal. William Troost Ekong, who also won the best player of the tournament, he scored with a powerful header in the 34th minute, and Nigeria, succumbed to that in the second half as Cote d'Ivoire, the rejuvenated Cote d'Ivoire, came back and they won the game 2-1. Sad one for Nigeria and Nigerians, but commiserations to them, of course. Sticking with the Super Eagles of Nigeria, and I come to you, Kenny. What are the positives that you can take from the Super Eagles of Nigeria at the AFCON 2023?
The first is no other than Stanley Nwabali, the goalkeeper, of the Super Eagles. He showed that he can be trusted, because the best form of attack is defense, and we could see that our defensive organization was superb at the Total Energies AFCON 2023, and it shows that there's a good understanding between chemistry between the backline and the goalkeeper. He was commanding Salim Bali. He was vocal. He has a big frame, and so he utilized that so well and all of that. So for me, that's the first positive for me, the goalkeeping. And moving on to other tournaments, the AFCON next year, the World Cup and all. I think we can look back and say, the Super Eagles, we finally have a #1 goalkeeper.
Absolutely.
And there will be any discussions about who is going to start either who. It's just Stanley Nwabali, and they proved that at the AFCON. The second positive for me, it's the fact that the Super Eagles got to the final when the whole world thought or felt we will not get there. So that we could also call that the positive too. And the players and the team, NFF can just look back and say, okay, even in a season, in a tournament where everybody ruled us out and we got to the final, then let's just take it the step further next year. And with the likes of of the odds and everything, they would really consider the Super Eagles as underdogs going into one of the tournaments. So for me, those are my two positives.
I'll be speaking about the negatives, and the first one that comes to mind is definitely the fact that Nigeria had just one home-based player at the AFCON 2023, and that's none other than Olorunleke Ojo, the goalkeeper of Eyimba, who was the third choice of the Super Eagles of Nigeria at the AFCON Cup of Nations 2023. He didn't even make an appearance on the substitution bench, but I think it's high time, we get ourselves as many home-based players in the national team, guys, that started the football the grassroots way, that went on to the top to play for the NPFL, the NNL, because they are really good guys there. That's why I think that we need, an indigenous manager, the one that can go into games like that, take his time and watch those guys, scout them up and bring them in and all of that. We need as many home-based players. You look at Bafana of South Africa, they had over 7 players in a team, and in the starting lineup, they had over 5 players, from the same team, so you see how impressive is that. There's a chemistry with that. There is a spirit, there's a hunger when you have home-based players, playing for a competition where they dreamed of when they were younger. So I think it's important that Nigeria going forward, the next AFCON and all of that, we need, as many home-based players in the team. And for the second negatives will definitely be the fact that we do not have an attacking midfielder, a proper attacking midfielder. Yes, in the first game, Alex Iwobi was utilized as a number 10, but we know, what we expect. It didn't really work out, because what we expect from a number 10 in the modern day football is, outputs. You have to make the passes, not just short passes. You need to create chances. You need to take the team on your back and make passes to the number 9 and all of that. It didn't work. And when Jose Peseiro changed his system, Alex Iwobi played deeper. We do not have a number 10 in that team. But there are so many guys home and abroad, that we can bring in. And I think it's important that Nigeria also, speak to the guys, the foreign-based players abroad. They are really talented guys. Yes, they want to come back home. I know most of them would want to play for the England national team and all of that. But you see the progress that we made with this AFCON. It could be a catalyst. It could be an exciting thing for them to come back home. And I urge them also to come back home. The technical guys, the talented guys, come back home and play for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. So, but that's all from the AFCON show on Sport Talk. Remember, the next African Cup of Nations, the 35th edition of the African Cup of Nations, will be hosted in Morocco, Marrakech, in less than 60 months, and it promises to be interesting. Remember, all these games, the African Cup of Nations, the Nigerian Premier League, the English Premier League, Spanish La Liga, Italian Serie A, Saudi Pro League, NBA tennis, and all of these games are available on 1xBet. 1xBet offers the highest thousands of odds in 182 sports every day. Millions of players choose 1xBet. So why don't you join them and write your own success story? All you have to do is grab your smartphones, your laptop, your tab, and log on to www.1xbet.ng, register and get up to 300% bonus. It's that simple, because 1xBet follow the leaders.
And I'll be taking the 1xBet brand questions for the week one more time, so you can stand a chance to win amazing prizes. And here are the questions. What other surprises await in the 1xBet African Legend Project? A, many great stories. B, story competition. C, story competition. A repeat the trick challenge. Prizes for the winners. And D, challenge but no prizes. And here is the second question. Which of these African football legends never played at the World Cup? A, Didier Drogba. B, JJ Okocha. C, Osam Hassan. And D, El Hadji Diop. Don't forget to send your answers to the numbers on the screen, and the winners will be revealed.
We have come to a conclusion of today's episode of Sport Talk, brought to you by 1xBet. We sign out by saying, love yourself, love your neighbor, and love the game. I am Taiwo Olatuja.
And I'm definitely Kendo Olatuja. Until we come your way again,
stay safe.